is Cheryl, and we created this podcast as the Adult Leadership Advisory Board, or ALAB. Who we are in terms of ALAB is a group that focuses on issues, challenges, and difficult topics facing our community. We are working hard to develop educational programming, social tools, and fundraising initiatives to inform, include, and support adults with cystinosis, but ultimately anybody in our community, our friends, our families, our neighbors, and anybody that might or might not be affected by cystinosis. We, as the Adult Leadership Advisory Board, are funded and work under the Cystinosis Research Network. For those of you out there who might not necessarily understand or know what cystinosis is characterized by the accumulation of the amino acid, or one of the amino acids, cysteine, within the cells. When the cysteine builds up in the cells, it often forms crystals and will sometimes attack certain organs and tissues, predominantly the kidneys, but also includes the eyes, muscles, thyroid, brain, pancreas, and testes. Previously, it was known that an individual born with cystinosis would not live past 10. It's pretty grim, and I'm sure many families out there were quite devastated when they had a newborn who was diagnosed with this disease, cystinosis. However, today we have members in our community living well past 50 years old.
Hello, and welcome to Cystinosis Rare Journey into the Unknown. With me today are hosts Sarah Healy, Jana Healy, and Brianna Dundon. And our guests today are Emily Mello and Brianna Dundon. Our topic is about mothers with cystinosis and how they go through their lives dealing with all the ins and outs of life with cystinosis and motherhood.
So, Emily, the first question is, what do you find the most challenging with taking care of your kid while caring for your own health?
The most difficult thing, honestly, would be, so Elijah's 14 now, so it has gotten a little better. But, growing up, the first 3 years of Elijah's life, I was on dialysis. So it was difficult, how I had to get connected to the dialysis machine, the cycler.
Right.
Early, so that I can get out early, disconnect early, and take him to school. A lot of times I wanted to stay up a little bit later, or, have some me time or whatnot, and it just wasn't possible. But I think, because when you become a mom, the mentality is like, okay, baby's number one now, and you kind of forget to take care of yourself. And so juggling around dialysis, having the baby, all the medications and all that, I think that was the most challenging, was prioritizing myself,
Right.
Because all of a sudden it's not about you, it's about the baby. And so, I had a hard time kind of like putting myself, taking care of myself first, but it's important. I learned now it's important that I have to be here for him, and it's kind of like when you're on the plane, they always say, put the mask on you first, and then
Right.
you can help someone else. So I put that into perspective. As Elijah was getting older, I'd go ahead and, I need to take care of myself, so that I'm going to be here to take care of Elijah.
Makes sense.
So, yeah, that was the challenge, is kind of like putting me second or even like last,
Right.
But now I have that mentality that, okay, let me take care of myself so that I can take care of him.
Yeah, see, I just now, since we adopted Eva, it was a lot different having, a 4-year-old, and I always was more concerned about her than me. And even still now, like, my boss had to tell me I need a day off because I was, working all day and then taking her to activity stuff. And she's like, you need to rest, because I worked a double. She's like, I'm not letting you work doubles anymore. So my
Right.
boss could tell that, and she knows that I have health problems and stuff, and she's always like making sure I'm eating and drinking too at work. And I sometimes, forget to because I'm so busy working.
Yeah, we kind of just, we want the best for our kids, and we just kind of like, we just put ourselves in the back burner. I need to be working. I need to make, I need to do this. I need to do that. And we can get exhausted and burn out, a little easier than a mother without cystinosis or, but it happens to the best of us. So
what are some tricks you have learned along the way to help you in your everyday family life?
Some tricks I learned along the way. So I have done like my medication. So like I've done everything. I've filled my medications. I've taken it out straight from the bottle, stuff like that. But I think and now I'm like in a stable thing with my medication where I packed it in a little travel bag and I have all my medications there and in one spot, and every Sunday I'll refill it. And I just came to a conclusion that I think in like stability with the medications and a routine with the medications is to have it in that one spot, do the same thing every day kind of thing, in the morning.
Yeah.
And since Elijah's older now, I'll wake him up and then I will go ahead and do that routine, so routine definitely was a trick that I've learned. And sticking with it,
Yeah.
And the routine is important, and
yeah, I've come to realize that too with Eva, because she doesn't like if something changes, like she doesn't do well with change because of her diagnosis stuff, and so we try to keep her bedtime, just so her routines.
Yeah, routine's important for kids.
Yeah. And for myself too,
right.
With like my medications and all that, I think routine is important, and having like time to yourself is important too, which sometimes I struggle with. I know some moms will struggle with having that you time, but even like a nice day to do your nails, things like that, keep you happy, and if you're married or time with your spouse, things like that, less stress around, like the less stress, the better things run more smoothly, so
happy mom, happy life.
Happy mom. Yeah, I was gonna say if you're married, happy wife, happy life.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
But definitely, I think having you time and self-care and things like that is definitely very important.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have a hard time with that sometimes. I mean, I try to get my nails done and stuff without, but I'm so busy. Yeah, I'm so busy with her and her activities.
Yeah.
Because she does dance, she does tumbling. She's going to do soccer again. She did t-ball. It's been, go, go, go. She's in Girl Scouts now, so.
Nice. And then, so Brianna, I have a question for you. Like, so do you participate in everything with her? Do you drop her off?
I'm there for the Girl Scouts, and then I come to watch kind of the end of her tumbling.
Sure.
Stuff. So.
Yeah. So like one thing that I like to do, since the pandemic, we weren't allowed into the academy where my son does baseball, but it's like an hour and a half practice, and I don't want to drive far, So sometimes I just take a nap in the car, and get that re-energized, and so it's like I'll take that little time while he's practicing. I'll take a nap in the car. There's a mall next to me. Sometimes I'll go there, but then I'll end up spending too much. But little things, while he's practicing. Now that he's older, I can kind of like drop him off and go do something else, or even come home and do something at the house, That's how I've been finding little me time, so in between practices. And he's a pretty busy kid. He's doing basketball and baseball. So it's like one practice ends, we'll go straight to another practice. It's a lot. And it's like only me, of course I have help at the house and stuff, but it's only me. And it's like, sometimes it can get overwhelming and one thing also, it's like, it's as moms, we kind of want to do everything,
Right.
we want to get everything, but we also have to know it's okay to ask for help. Like one time, let's say my eyes aren't that great, to be driving around. I will ask if someone can someone, drive us, or I'll ask like one of the moms, hey, I have a doctor's appointment today. I won't be able to pick him up. Can you, so like, it's okay to ask for help, I know sometimes I'm a little stubborn about it, like, no, I can do this. I can do it by myself, but it's okay to ask for help. And I've learned that too. So.
Yeah, that's an important lesson to learn. I'm the same way sometimes, Emily. Super stubborn, especially when I'm sick.
Right. It's like, I don't want to be a burden to anyone, or I don't want to bother anyone about anything. Like, oh, I've been doing this all by myself for 14 years. I can, but sometimes I do. I'll step back and say, hey, can someone give me a ride or something, and there was a couple of months ago, I was really sick, like in April. And I had a really hard time kind of like depending on people, to drive me to the doctor's appointments, or we went to another state for one of Elijah's baseball tournaments, and I was just so sick over there. I was like, and it was like, okay, that's when I'm like, all right, I think I have help and all that, but it was hard for me to accept that I wasn't feeling good, and I wasn't going to be at the championship game, but it all worked out. I had the help.
Yeah.
So I think it's important. It's okay to ask for help.
When you are sick, when you have health issues pop up, and this goes for you too, Brianna, how do you stay motivated? Just in your life in general, or stay motivated
So like throughout Elijah's life, I asked him the other day, since I was getting ready to chat with you guys. I was like, what's it like having a mom with a rare disease? And he said, normal. And I'm like, wow, that makes sense, because it's our normal. It's our normal. I was like, yeah, I've had my hospital stays, and like I said, when first 3 years I was on dialysis, but he doesn't remember me on dialysis, which is a great thing, and I just stay motivated because, like, I just want to do what I have to do to get better and get back at it, I was in the hospital a couple of times, and which is like so frustrating too, because I had to do what I have to do with Elijah, but knowing that I have a support system and people that help, that's a motivation to me to say, okay, everything's gonna be fine. I'll just get right back at it. Like the day, I was in the hospital one day, and then like 2 days later we went to Delaware. So it's like, okay, I'm better, let's go. But then when I was in Delaware, I was so sick. And that was just so discouraging. It's like, oh man, I'm not there at the game. I was just so sick in the hotel room, but still following like all the plays and stuff, but I was like, Elijah, I wouldn't miss a game, like I was still following along. I told him, like, even in my deathbed, I'd still be connected, watching or something. But I mean, I think the hospital stays and not feeling great is a challenge. But I mean, something that me and Elijah, it's our normal. Like he said, it's normal, Yeah, that's my motivation too, just to do what I gotta do to get better. My support system is there for me, and let's go, keep going.
What about you, Brianna?
I would say, just recently I was really sick for like probably 2 weeks almost, and I was so stubborn. I kept saying, "Oh no, I can take her there. I can." And my husband's like finally told me that he's got it. Just go lay down and stuff, and just having that support system of he's when I can't take her activity and stuff, he steps up so that she can still go. I actually, since we got her, I haven't been in hospital, so she doesn't know any of that because she just thinks I'm like normal because she takes medicine too. So, at her age, she doesn't quite understand that I have a rare disease. So,
yeah.
So my nieces kind of went through that. I would have moments where something would happen. Like I was playing with my oldest niece in the pool when she was younger, and she smelled cysteamine on me, and she said, Uncle Steve, why do you smell bad? And there is like that moment for a little bit where that hurt a little bit, but then there's that other part of me that was like, well, she's not saying it to be mean. So I just explained to her, that I have this disease. I have to take this medicine to be healthy. And then after that, she never mentioned it again. It was just, oh, okay.
Yeah. And she loves you.
Yeah. Yes.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah. So following up on the motivation question for you guys, how do you handle health issues with your boss at work, or any situation like work?
I've been pretty lucky because my boss understand, that I have, health issues and stuff, and so when I'm not feeling well, or when it's not a big deal when I have to call in. She's like the other day or a few weeks ago, I was overworking myself, and she finally told me go home and rest. I left work early because she's like, you need to go take care of yourself. So I've been really lucky having a boss that understands me. She can tell when like I'm exhausted.
Yeah, same here. I've been pretty lucky too. Like, so I'm an interpreter. I work at the clinics, and that's like only once in a while, so I don't have much problems there. And I don't tell a lot of people, I don't, introduce myself. Hi, I'm Emily, and I have a rare disease. And I'm here to interpret for you. So like not a lot of people in the hospital or the clinics that I go to, they have no idea. They just know me as Emily the interpreter. And that's once in a while. It's not an always thing. But then I have my job. It's with a friend. He has a home improvement company that I work with him. And he's known me since maybe I was like 14, 15. So he knows my story. He knows a little bit about cystinosis. And he's very understanding. However, I'm so grateful and everything. But there's sometimes like, not recently, but, a couple months back, I wasn't well. Like I actually forced myself to go to work. And then that's like when I started kind of like feeling sick right in front of him. And then I think he's like, okay, go home, But let's say it's something that, because like cystinosis, if you don't know what it is, you look at a person, you think they're fine. Because I think cystinosis is not so much of an outside thing. People look at us and think we're fine. People look at me, but sometimes it's just like my eyes are bothering me, for example. And I feel, maybe this is in my head, but I feel that sometimes he gets like a little bit annoyed, like maybe she's faking it, or, But I tell him, I'm so sorry, I'm going a little bit slow today because my eyes are bothering me and whatnot. And I can sense it. It could be just in my head, but he kind of like, laughs it out and whatever. And then, but I do struggle with, because he thinks I'm okay, but really I'm not that okay. I'm not throwing up in front of you or anything, but my eyes are bothering me, or I feel fatigue a lot, and sometimes he doesn't notice it and wants me to do better or more. I don't know if that makes sense. Like, he'll want more of me but he doesn't know what I'm feeling and whatnot. So I'm trying like really hard not to like, oh, can I go home or whatnot. But it's hard, like when you're just not feeling it. Your eyes are bothering you, and I'm on the computer all day with him, and it's like I don't want to give in, but sometimes I have to, and thankfully he's understanding, but sometimes I feel he's like annoyed at it.
Yeah.
So, and it's like I try my best not to like give in and all that, and then I have to push myself, but then I get home and I just like pass out in the couch or something. But then I can't pass out because I have to make dinner, or it's challenging. It's challenging.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I know when I'm at work, it's hard to talk about my health issues with my workplace because they don't understand, and it almost feels like they get uncomfortable talking about it. Like
and like
something and, and they'll change the subject.
Or like the faces people make sometimes when we try to explain what cystinosis is. They kind of have like that feel bad look, like like they're trying to understand, and but then at the same time it's too much information, too much science stuff going, and it's like, oh, and then they'll change the subject, and then it's like, oh, okay,
Yeah.
Even to some doctors, like, yeah, I have cystinosis, and they have no idea what it is, and I'm like, and then I try to explain what it is, and they're like, oh, okay, or it's funny, like some people's reactions, because it's so rare, no one hears about it,
Yeah.
But also too, like it's our normal,
Yeah.
Yeah, I talk about it all the time, and sometimes I can feel my coworkers looking at me like, I don't want to hear about this. Why? But it's part of my life, so I'm going to talk about it.
Of course.
Well, yeah, I mean, in my workplace, I've told a few people, and they're pretty understanding about it. They don't really know a lot about it. I mean, I try and explain it, but it's a scientific explanation, so not everybody knows the science of it. Like when you try and tell them it's in the lysosomal cell, and
exactly.
They're over their head, like, what?
Yeah.
It's a delicate balance. Dealing with talking to people. Like I've always had in the past, I've had a good relationship with my bosses and stuff, but it's always that like that weird balance of like, how much do I tell? Do I only tell when I need to?
Right.
Yeah. I don't want to make their brains explode.
Yeah.
Yeah. And when I do tell some people, like you guys are talking about, who haven't known me for a long time, they get that look like you're from another planet.
Right.
Yeah. It's almost like dating to some degree, in a weird way, like figuring out like exactly like the right things to say, and like looking at trying to figure out what kind of person someone is to see how how they're gonna take something, like kind of feeling the other people out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's tricky.
Yeah.
But thankfully, my boss, he's understanding, but sometimes he gets annoyed at my slowness. But
yeah,
I've been with him for a while.
You gotta think about you. It's not about what the boss thinks.
Yeah.
It's about how you feel that day and whether you can handle it or not. Whether
That's
you
right,
can.
Yeah.
You gotta take care of yourself.
That's right.
So the next question I wanted to ask was, it's kind of a two-parter. How do you tell your kids or kid about your rare disorder, or at what age do you think they would understand what you're telling them about your rare disorder?
I think Elijah's, we were always pretty open about cystinosis to Elijah. He's been to like the conferences with me and stuff like that. He's seen explanations, but I think to him, it's not his main focus. It's not like, okay, my mom has this disease, but she does everything for me. I hope he sees, like, when he's older, how hard things were for me to provide him all everything that I do. And because it's, us with cystinosis, I always think of it this way. We can do anything we want to do. We just have to take like an extra step than that person that doesn't have cystinosis. For example, let's say we're walking a mile or something like that. We may not be the fastest one. We may take breaks to drink water more than the other, but we'll get it done. Like I may need to ask for help to bring Elijah somewhere when I'm not doing well, but it's still getting done. When I'm, or bringing him into the world was very difficult. I mean, it was a risk, when I found out I was pregnant, we're like, oh my goodness, it's, a miracle. A woman having a baby is a miracle. But, a woman where was a lot was unknown for a woman with cystinosis to have a baby. That would have been like a miracle times two. We take that extra. We may take that extra that person, what I'm trying to say? Like, we can do it. It's just it takes a little bit more effort maybe on our part, or, I think that Elijah is aware. I take medications. I have hospitalizations, but I hope he sees that my sacrifice and my extra effort to provide him with everything, since I have this rare disease, but I'm still doing what any other mother would for her child. I push through, and I just hope that he realizes that, and that how blessed I am because I'm his mother, and how blessed he is because I'm his mother. We never talk about, like, on our day-to-day basis, cystinosis doesn't really come up. It's just, it's what my mom has, kind of, it's what I have and what I live with, and
Yes.
I'm being a mom. So I think I've always been open with him about it. He knows things that can happen, I think that he sees it. He's in the teenage years, so he doesn't really. I don't think it's his focus though. He's just like, okay, yeah, my mom has a disease, and it's our normal. Like when I ask him about it, it's like our normal, and I still get things done, So.
Yeah. See, Hayden, when I started dating Hayden's dad, he was there when I was in the hospital and stuff, so he knew. But now with Eva, like, I haven't even been in the hospital since we have had her, so she doesn't really
which is
see
awesome.
that, I'm sick. So all she sees is, I'm her mom now, and we just do stuff together.
Yeah, I think we're their mom.
I mean, when she's older, I'll explain. I just think she's not, like, emotionally, where she could understand, just because of where she came from and stuff. So
yeah,
I don't think, even if I tried, I don't think she would understand any of it.
Yeah. She just knows that you're her mom, and you provide her with love, right?
Right.
And same with Elijah. Like, he just knows I'm his mom. I mean, that might take medication in the morning, do eye drops and stuff like that, and get to know cool people at conferences. Like, he knows too. He knows how, like, if we have a picture of people, he knows, oh, this person has cystinosis, and he kind of, like, he kind of can tell,
right,
if a person has cystinosis. So he's familiar with it, but again, it's not our focus. It's just a part of who his mom is, and that's it. Mom still loves me. Mom is able to do everything that any other mom would. Like, I was talking to one of his friends' mom, and we were talking about, like, women who there's a mom that the son's a baseball player and she's in a wheelchair, and she gets everything done. Like, she has her own challenges, of course, like we all do, and but she still gets it done. She's in the wheelchair, but she can drive. She puts. We were talking about how she gets everything and puts it in the car herself, and gets into the car and drives. It's like, how inspiring it is. I'm like, that's definitely inspiring. Most people, some people would probably, like, mope around, but she chose not to. And same here. Like, I could choose not to do anything, and I can choose to kind of, like, not be that mom, but no, I choose to it's a challenge, and I'm gonna get it done. I'm gonna get things done because I love my son. So, and I think I hope he realizes this. Yeah. But I've always been open with him about it. Yeah, about cystinosis.
In going with the health issue topic, how do you explain it to your child's school?
I don't. No? I've never mentioned it, because I've been like I said, I've been, like, ever since I became a mom, I've been surprising myself with lots of things. Like, before I was a mom, I had a really, really hard time in the mornings. I'm not going to lie, I still have a hard time in the mornings. But I think it's the mom in me that kind of, like, okay, get up, let's do this, So, like, if we're late, it's because of little things that's been happening in the morning, stuff like that. Because I was always late to high school, always late to high school because I wasn't feeling well and all that. But since I became a mom, it's like something in me. Like, I'm still not the morning person, but I'm more. I get him to school on time. I drive him to school and pick him up and all that. So I don't really feel there's reasons to tell the school. I mean, I had a parent-teacher meeting the other day, and it did come up. I was like, we were talking about medications or something to a science teacher. And I said, oh, I take so many medications. And she's like, oh, really? How come? And then it came up. I've had a kidney transplant because I had a rare disease when I was 10. And I explained to her. But other than that, there was no need to explain to anyone. I did talk to Elijah, like, a couple of times, like, oh, let's do a project on cystinosis. But I want it to come from him. Like, I don't want to be like, hey, let's do a cystinosis project or something like that. But other than that, there was no reason to speak about cystinosis. And I'm really, like, I say hi to everyone, but I'm really quiet to myself. I don't know a lot of the parents, so I felt there was no reason to really, but me as a student, that's a different story. But me as
Right.
a mom, to let the school know, I never really felt a reason to. And like when I'm in the hospital, I'll tell maybe one or two moms that can help me out with Elijah, but never to the school faculty or, never felt a reason to.
Yeah, same here. I don't see a reason to. And I mean, I'm
Yeah,
still new, even getting to know the parents. I mean,
exactly. Yeah,
now it's worth 2 years, but they have known each other so long that it's been kind of awkward trying to, meet new people there when, most of them have lived there all their lives.
right.
It being a
Yeah,
small town, everyone knows everybody. So,
yeah. I don't, unless maybe things like if something like really serious happened and I'm in the hospital for months or something like that. I think, of course, I'd have my family tell them and stuff like that. But other than that, no, I've never really spoke, besides that one teacher talking about the transplant and stuff.
Okay.
I never really wanted like, like some people, they use like the sick card, stuff like that. Like I never really wanted anything like that for me. Like I didn't want any special treatments or anything like that. So yeah, I don't feel that the school would need to know unless something serious happened. And of course,
Right.
I'd want them to support Elijah and all that, like have Elijah's back. Mom's not doing well or something like that. Then I think it would probably come up.
That makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, I think it is different, versus your mom who's going to the kids' school versus you're actually in school and you actually have to explain it to people.
yes,
Yeah.
yes. I used to explain to people why I drink so much water. And that like one of the teachers knew why I missed a lot of classes, especially in fourth grade, where it was like my kidney started failing, and then I had between fourth and fifth grade is when I had I had dialysis and then the kidney transplant. So obviously they knew. They let me drink water all the time, like bring my own water bottle or go to bathroom breaks as much as I wanted, stuff like that. But I'm not, with Elijah, I'm not in school or anything. He certainly doesn't have any special treatment because mom's sick or anything, But definitely a difference between when I was a student to when my kid's a student. I wish he would do something like a science project on cystinosis. So one, he can learn a little bit more in depth, and two, to bring awareness, But it's not something I want to force onto him. It's something I want him to do on his own,
Yeah.
Yeah, I totally get that.
Yeah. Like for one example that came to my head just now is like they were learning about human cells and animal cells. And I was like, oh, and then he had to draw a lysosome. I was like, oh, did you tell your teacher that this is what mommy's lysosome is broken? It doesn't work like the other ones, like everyone. He's like, oh, nope. He didn't mention it. I doubt he even mentions anything to his kids, his friends. I do remember one time Elijah was on the phone with a baseball buddy, and I think one of his friends commented on my shortness, and he explained, oh yeah, because her kidney didn't work, something like that. Like I'm like, oh, he knows,
Yeah.
So I think he'll probably only mention if someone asks.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know when
Let me ask him.
I grew up, we didn't really, they would tell our teachers and stuff, but cystinosis
Yeah.
wasn't the biggest part of our life.
Right.
Growing up.
Yeah.
Until this day, it's not, right?
Yeah, it's pretty much we do our own thing. We take our meds.
Yeah.
No one says anything. No one is like, "What are you doing? Why are you taking those meds?"
Yeah.
I always just joke because the Precision are like these blue pills, So I watched the recent Matrix movie, and in the recent Matrix movie, he takes these blue pills that look like Procision. So I would joke with my friends. I'm like, "Oh, I'm taking the blue pill, not the red one, the blue pill." Staying in the Matrix.
Wait, what was the blue pill for?
The blue pill, you stay in the Matrix, so you're basically unaware of what the real reality is.
Our whole life is the Matrix. Come here, let me ask you something. Elijah's here. Eli, do you tell your friends mommy has cystinosis? He said no. No? You don't? He's like, no one cares. But that's true. That is true. Like, everyone has their own thing.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, it was different when we were growing up because everybody had their own cliques and everything. And, if you were different, then you were weird. Or, when you're younger, everybody has that where, oh, you're too different. But then as you grow up, people treat you with respect and decency.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
Sometimes.
Ideally.
Yes, ideally.
The nice ones.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, nowadays cystinosis doesn't even faze me. It's just something I have to deal with sometimes.
Yeah, sometimes it catches up to us.
Yeah.
Yep. And like any other person, we have our good days, we have our bad.
Yeah. Yep. I mean, they don't like when I'm at work. I'll take my meds off to the side, and no one says anything.
The words of a teenager, no one cares.
I had a really funny moment. It was either yesterday or the day before. So I've been taking Procision by splitting, it apart and putting it in the applesauce because it's a little less hard on my stomach because I take 17 or 18 pills. And my niece, my 6-year-old niece, was next to me, and she was watching me split apart the pill capsules and then pour the little pebbles inside my applesauce, and she was just amazed at how many there were that I was splitting apart.
See, did you know there's like the packets now?
I know, but I don't want to pay for the pack. I don't want to pay for the packet when I can just tear it apart and get the same thing,
Yeah. Well, the packet, you just like rip it and.
I know.
It's all your preference.
I guess partially it's a little cathartic, like taking it apart and putting it in it.
I got you. Yeah.
Yeah.
See, with my meds, I take 12 pills, and I have to split them up. Like I'll take 6, and then I have to wait an hour and take the other 6. Otherwise, I have really bad stomach issues.
Yeah. The other day, I have a 4-year-old niece, and I take insulin, and then I did the insulin in front of her, and she's like, she was like, oh, that's gonna hurt, kind of like, she did a really sad face, and I did it, and I was like, was I so brave? And she was like, yeah, you're so brave, And my niece too, like, she's 4 years old. She quite doesn't understand why Auntie has to take all the medications, but she's around it. And I think it's important to kind of show her, how brave I am, how Auntie can take care of you, and Auntie can take all these medicines. So she'll know how brave Auntie is, and because what we go through, I don't think it's for the faint of heart, It's not just anyone's. I think we were all chosen because how strong we were, or how strong it's made us. So yeah.
Yeah, that's a good.
We learn to live. We learn to live with it, and it's our normal. It's, like Elijah said, it's normal to have a mommy with a rare disease.
Yeah, I mean, having a rare disease, it builds character. It gives you empathy for other people who are dealing with issues in the same way we're dealing with issues. A lot of healthy people don't understand what, because, you get those people that say, well, you don't look sick. Well,
yeah,
okay,
exactly.
but
yeah.
I feel it on the inside.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, that'll conclude the questions. We want to thank you for being with us, Emily, and answering the questions. And thanks, Brianna, for answering questions too about this.
Yeah, no problem.
Yeah.
I love chatting. Always a good time.
Yeah. And I guess that'll conclude this podcast episode. And it's just great hearing from the people in the community who have kids, and it shows how strong you guys are and how you can be rare and you can still have a kid and have a normal life.